What is good, YouTube family? Back again with another video for you guys. Okay, I'm trying to be as consistent as I can, trying to bring you the game for free as best as I can. Okay, so please, if you're not already, like and subscribe. My subscribers are going up. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you're finding value. If you are, I appreciate every one of you. Okay, so with today's video, guys, I want to talk about the importance of time and what it actually has in terms of being one of the biggest factors in trading, period. Like, I don't care what anyone says, time cannot be overlooked as to how important it is. And I'm going to show you a few examples of why it's important, but I'm also going to bring you some stories about when I then figured out how important time is. That's what actually took my trading to a whole nother level, right? So it's really important that you guys grasp time, because there are a few things that a lot of people get into where they think trading is the market's open 24 hours a day, you can trade it 5 days a week. Yes, that is technically true, but number one, who actually has the time to look at a chart for 24 hours? I don't think anyone is not that busy. Like, you literally have to be doing nothing. And also, when you're learning, these were kind of the mistakes I made in my journey. I definitely made these mistakes where you seem to want to learn so much that you're actually glued to the chart a bit too much. You have to understand, you don't need to look at the chart all day. I wish if I could go back in time, that is one of the things I would tell my younger self when I was learning how to trade. I would literally learn all day, every day with me and my friend. We'd just be in his house all day, every day, 8-hour stints, 9-hour stints, trying to figure out what is actually going on, how these markets work and stuff like that. So if I could go back in time, I would limit my exposure to the charts in terms of how many hours I'm putting in per day. Now, obviously, it did have good things as well, because you do learn more. The more you actually are on the charts, you do learn things about the price. And, when there's news events and you're looking at the charts around news events, it does have a benefit too. But in terms of fatigue and burnout, I didn't really understand what that was. So only until I started experiencing those things, I realized it's okay, I'm actually on the charts a bit too long, and that is actually what is causing the problem. So burnout and fatigue, if you guys are actually feeling those effects, it's time to actually take a break from the chart, and you'll be better for it. Don't feel like you're not warranted because you need to make X amount of money, or I haven't hit my monthly goal or my monthly target, or I need to complete this challenge. Most challenges, if you guys are going down prop firm routes these days, you're able to actually, there's no time limit, right? So you can actually take your time. So if you are feeling those mental effects, don't push through it, trust me, because you start making bad decisions, and it's because you're not operating as good as you can operate on the charts. Everyone deserves a break, right? Even those at work, you get, I don't know, what is it, 30 days off, right? Where you're able to book time off. Take the time off from the charts as well, okay? Now, I say that to say, right, that when it comes to understanding a window of opportunity, I like to tell people I have a window of opportunity. I'll give you the best example, right, that I can think of, is that when you go fishing, or I presume, because I've never actually been fishing, but when you do go fishing, right, you are lining up, you're pitching up your chair for the day, wherever you're trying to plot, and then you're getting your hooks ready, you put your bait on, and then you put the fishing hook in the water, right? You're gonna throw it in there, right? Waiting for something to catch on the hook. So in that period of time, you don't know how long it's gonna take. So you're literally there waiting for something to happen. Eventually, it's gonna come a point where if nothing is happening, you're gonna pack up your stuff and you're gonna leave. You're not gonna stay there the whole day, right? You're gonna pack up. This is, I've been here a fair amount of time. It could be hours, 6 hours. Let's say you're fishing for 6 hours, right? I don't know how long people fish for, but let's say you're there for 6 hours, nothing hits your hook. You're gonna pack up and be like, yeah, I'm getting out of here. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow, right? Now, trading is similar to that. Basically, if you're not seeing anything line up from your confirmation perspective, why are you still at the chart, right? Why not use these alerts that are given to you, right? They're tools, right? Why not use those tools and set the alerts and be like, okay, if this goes off, I'll come back. Because that way, again, the efficiency of it is all wrong if you're just sitting there all day looking at things, waiting for things to happen. Boredom's going to set in, right? And you may then, because you're bored, look to now try and force a trade, or think, yeah, like, I'm seeing a little bit of movement, I think this is happening. Like, because you're bored, your brain takes over and it wants to be stimulated. And when you want to be stimulated, right, you're going to start forcing moves that ain't really lining up with your criteria anyway, right? And it's just recipe for disaster. So you want to avoid that as best as you can. And I've been guilty of it again. When I was learning, I've been guilty of sitting at a chart all day, right? We used to trade Euro NZD back in the day. And we had like a theory, because NZD, or the Kiwi, whichever you guys know it as, right, is in a different part of the world. We used to think, yeah, like it's still gonna pop off later in the day. Now, for those that know, you get 4 sessions in total throughout the 24 hours, right? You get the Sydney, the Asia, or Tokyo, or you get London and New York, right? So each 8 hours, there's a session in some part of the world. So we used to think, okay, Sydney and Asia, yeah, like the NZD is still active. There's still gonna be volume. And we would literally try and trade late at night, and it's like, why are we even doing this? We've literally been here all day. Why are we actually still here? So it wasn't until we understood that things happen at certain times in the day, and if it doesn't happen on that day, come back tomorrow. We was doing those mistakes. We was making those mistakes, right? So you have to have more of a structure. And now that I'm a day trader and understand these concepts, that's what kind of shifted into the relaxed approach and understanding what it is I'm waiting to occur to then come back to the chart. So I want you guys to understand that it should be that same mentality as well. Right, so when we look at the charts, right, and I'm going to go walk through a few examples here, I want you to kind of understand there's certain things that we can see in terms of volume and when the market isn't doing anything, right? And that is what we kind of got to pick up on for those that are not, wary of this or not thinking about this, right? If we understand that volume is likely to be in certain times of the day, then that's when we want to be active. We don't want to be active when the volume isn't there. So it's just a waste of time. You're just staring at something that is ticking up or ticking down, and it's not really doing it in a great way, or it's not, price isn't being delivered in a way where it could be. So I want you guys to understand that if we look at where the market is ranging here, okay, and we study what time it's ranging from, right, we can normally see, and obviously I'm based in the UK right now, so this is UK time. We can obviously see, like, in the later hours of the evening going into the early morning, right, we kind of get ranges start to happen. Okay, so during the Asian session, you normally get ranges, right? And then going into, the 7 o'clock, the 8 o'clock, the London session, you start to see volume pick up. Then when you go into the afternoon, the New York session, you start to get volume pick up. Then when you go back into those evening session hours, right, you start to see the market not really do much. Now, am I saying the market can't do anything during the Asian session or Sydney session? Of course not. But what I'm saying is you normally see more occur in the London and New York session, right? So again, if we just look at it from a standpoint of where we're getting most volume and where we're seeing the volume kind of come to a halt, it's certain times in the day. So we got 1 p.m. right here, which is the New York session. We get volume to the downside, and then for the remainder of the New York session, it kind of continues in that direction, right? And then in this session here, so this is an Asian session here, we do get the market move up. But look at the size of these candles. It is moving up, but the size of the candles, right, in this instance here, each hour is quite low volume, right? So in terms of you getting, one big candle here, this one big candle is more than all of these hours put together in terms of just the size of it. So, and that's not all, I don't want to say that's a constant again, but that is something that we can see as we go along, right? So we get, look at the time again at the bottom, right? Midnight, 1, 2, 3. So the times in which you don't need to be looking at the chart. Again, I relate it back to the fishing analogy where it's like, pack up your stuff and go, like, come back. You don't need to still be staring at it, because it's just a reminder to myself, because I used to do those things when I was very early on in my career, is that I'll be watching this all day, like 10 hours some days, right? And you're not missing anything. If nothing is going on throughout the morning or afternoon, going into the later hours, you don't really need to be staring at it unless there's like a news event that occurs. Maybe you've got like an interest rate, or one of the central banks are speaking, something like that, fine. But in majority of the time, things happen at a certain time in the day. So if we continue along here, and I'm just going to look at time being where the volume is at, okay? And I've just scrolled randomly. I don't want you to think I've got any examples here, because I don't, right? So as we go into the London session here, we kind of see London push up, okay? Capturing potentially some highs, right? And then once we capture that high, those highs, excuse me, going into the afternoon, we start to see the volume give us a reversal. Okay, and then when we go into the later hours after that, you start to see the volume. Yes, it continues lower, but look at the candles that are being printed. It's a very small volume, right? It is moving, but it's smaller volume. So then going into the next day, the morning, we got the London session right here. We push to the upside. And then once we then go into those later hours in the evening again, look at the volume. So you can save yourself by not coming to the market when it's doing this. Like, it's just not doing anything, right? Come back tomorrow. If you didn't get an opportunity to enter, there's gonna be another trade. So you don't need to think like, oh, what if it moves at 10 p.m? What if it moves at midnight? Like, what are the chances? Go and actually study the chart. How often does it move at those times? That's what you should be thinking and back testing. How often does that occur? So then going into the next day here, we've got midday, we got 1 o'clock, we get again a sweep of some lows, and then 2 o'clock hits. Look at the volume. In one candle, you get volume just rise. Those are the moves you want to be a part of, right? Because those are the ones that you could be done for a day or a week. If you have a lot size on this, which is, you know, good enough to kind of end your week, that's all you need is 1 or 2 hours here. Now, I'm not saying you're going to come in and just press buy or sell here. You're going to do the analysis first. But what I'm saying is, majority of the time throughout those later hours, you get a range created. And then going into London, it pierces the top of the range, then goes for the bottom of the range. And then going into the afternoon, right, it then gives you the move up to potentially capitalize from. So all of this is readable price action. Whereas going into, again, random stuff like here, you don't want to be a part of volume when it's like this. What are you really saving yourself for? There's nothing really happening here, right? So you don't need to be a part of that. And then going into the maneuvers where we're currently at with price now, you had the London session here. We got a little bit of a retracement again, and then going into the New York session, boom. Like, those are the moves you want to be a part of. So what time is that occurring? 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., right? It's giving you that continuation during the New York session. So in my opinion, you don't need to trade any other sessions except London and New York. That is where most of the volume is coming into the market. Someone tell me I'm wrong. The biggest sessions are when London and New York are both open. So from 1 p.m. when New York opens, London is still open too. So that's why you're likely to see these moves in terms of the volume kick in. It's because you're having the biggest sessions open. So why this is important and why I want to point this out to you guys is that don't waste your time when the market is doing this, right? You're going to enter at midnight and then sit through it because it's ticking along with just nothing happening, right? What do you want to be a part of that for? Even if you go to the next day, it's the same thing. So the market is tipping its hat, and you can, you know, go to any pair that you like to trade. Go and study the Asian session. Go and study the Sydney session. Go and study what the volume is like, and then compare it to the London and New York sessions, right? What is the volume like? So once I understood this, I understood where my window of opportunity is, where my shut-off points are, and what time I'm going to trade till until I don't see anything. And if nothing occurs on the day, I'm wrapping up. I don't want you guys to be sitting at these charts all day like I did, burning out, causing yourself mental fatigue when you can actually save yourself for another day, right? Don't feel like there's a scarcity of things happening in terms of like, if I don't catch this move today, I'm not catching anything. There's always going to be another trade, right? But do you want to be a part of a trade which ain't really going nowhere and it's just ticking along? Or do you want to be a part of it when it's popping, when it's like really booming? All right, no brainer what you want to be a part of. So that's kind of a wrap up today of what I wanted to speak to you guys about. Hopefully you guys found an incentive to go and back test this on the pairs you like to trade. I would always recommend that. Don't just take my word for it. But tell me your results. Show me what you guys are seeing. Like, let me know, like, oh wow, like, yeah, there is a thing I was not piecing together here, or maybe there was something I overlooked. You should have a window of opportunity as well. It's really important you do. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. Please like and subscribe and comment if you have any questions regarding it, and I'll see you guys on the next breakdown. Peace. Thank you for watching the latest episode. If you like that, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content. I'll see you on the next video.